All right, let's
All right, yeah, read that
yeah,
quote.
let's
Read that quote.
so this Cicero uh was, I suppose, sort of a statesman during Julius Caesar's reign, I want to
Mm-hmm.
say, but he was sort of a statesman before Caesar sort of seized power in
Mm-hmm.
Rome. And but there were, somewhat elections that kind of put Caesar into the position that he was in. So let's go. Here's his first quote. Do not blame Caesar. Blame the people of Rome who have so enthusiastically acclaimed and adored him and rejoiced in their loss of freedom and danced in his path and gave him triumphal processions. Blame the people who hail him when he speaks in the form of the new wonderful good society, which should now be Rome, interpreted to mean more money, more security, which sort of a good chunk of that is just sort of the leadership, well, not leadership, but like the figure, cult figure icon sort of mentality, which was seemingly chosen by the people of Rome. Like they sort of applauded their fall from a republic into an empire slash dictatorship. They welcomed Caesar, sort of just grabbing all the reins of power and just taking over. Which I don't know, feels a little apropos to what some people would think about Trump these days, because
Yeah, the
clearly there
first.
is a concerted effort to just sort of congregate power in the executive branch.
Yeah, it almost read to me like he was accusing Julius Caesar of being like. Now, there human history goes before this point pretty far. So, but like the OG written down scam artist. You know what I'm saying? Because the first part, at first, the first part spoke to me about, um, yeah, in times of like crisis, we
Yep.
always, not we, but because I'm not a smooth brain, but a good chunk of us will give up our freedom to people who will like pretend that they'll like ensure our safety, and that's how you rejoice in that, and that's also how they consolidate power. But then I read the second part, and I was just like, oh, just scam artist. The whole thing's scam artist. The whole thing goes hand in hand. Like, just
Yeah.
um,
Um.
people who are out to get power and consolidate power for their own purposes, whatever they may be. And along the way, they know they have to still build some sort of consensus. So you just scam. You scam a consensus. And
Just crazy to me that.
sometimes it
Yeah, yeah.
works. Yeah.
So this is like somewhere in the realm of like 100 BC. So we're talking 2,000 plus years ago.
Right.
And it seems like the dynamic of people submitting themselves to power has flipped between, like, I don't want to say obviously not a true representative uh government, but at least one that's sort of not consolidated in the hands of one person. And we've flipped between that and like just the strong man. Like for in perpetuity of all of human history. We just flip between these two sort of forms of power where it's either delegated and it's sort of spread out, or it's one dude just doing fucking all the things and making all the choices. And like it's, obviously that's what happened with Hitler.
Yep.
Um,
Yep.
Not saying
And
Trump is
usually the most
Hitler, but
successful ones are like
that's
delusional
what's
in their.
happening now.
You would always my stupid brain goes like, oh, why do people want power? Oh, it's because they can indulge in more, they can have more wealth. But honestly, the people who consolidate the most power and go absolutely psycho are just like sick in the brain. Like, it's not like they have this like they have these narcissistic delusions about how they're the best and they're amazing, and they like, but they have no like way of having a normal human being brain and stopping themselves from doing like crazy insane shit.
Mm.
And so they just do it, which is crazy.
Yeah, it does feel like the people who are compelled to run for positions of power too, they definitely have. They're either,
Yeah, there's a little
like you
narcissistic
said,
quality there
they're
too.
convinced. Yeah, they're either
Sure.
narcissists or they truly believe that like this society is beyond broken and I need to be the one that fixes it.
Right, but most human beings can take positions of leadership and still have like a certain governor in their mind that doesn't make them like go batshit crazy and bloodthirsty.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not really like the most threatening ones to society and mankind were like just again ones that delude themselves into thinking that they're the only way, their way's the best way,
Mm-hmm.
and they just get like manic about like how there's certain kinds of people who take from us, and to gain the most wealth, we must eliminate them. Just stupid shit, bro. Just insane,
You do need a certain level of cynicism amongst your electorate, though, for somebody like that to win.
100%.
You know what I mean?
The strongest guys, you can pluck any like 20 to let's say like any 50 to 100 year period and find plenty of insane like batshit crazy guys that would have, if they took power, would have been crazy. But the only ones, so you can always find them. There are a dime a dozen throughout history. But the only ones that met the right time period that allowed them to like actually be in control with their idiocy, that's where it gets really fucking dicey.
Right.
Really dicey.
It was during times of strife where you can convince a population, they're like, hey, maybe this guy can do the things we need him to do. And maybe we do need a strong man at this point in history.
That's why I don't think like
it does make you wonder how many like Hitlers that were never fully realized out there.
So
or
many.
Pol Pots or Stalins or whatever.
So many.
Yeah.
So many. That's why I don't think Trump is like this. I don't think, dude, Trump, like, he didn't even get, like, put into power in times of, like, uncertain, I don't know. We'll see. He said in some interview today that there are avenues to running a third term, which, I mean, who's going to stop him? So.
Yeah.
You would say the Supreme Court, and maybe. It looks like they somewhat have a spine, but we'll see. We'll see.
They're going to have to, otherwise they're going to completely self-neuter. So
if they don't have a spine, then yeah, Trump would run for a third, and if nobody's going to stop him, nobody's going to stop him. Like,
yeah.
And you even say like Supreme Court could stop him. We'll see. Turn around and have that famous quote like "You and one army," but whatever.
Yeah, but once you lose enough of the good faith from the population, unless he's ready to go full like authoritarian, use the military route, I don't know that he could keep that up for too long. There's no way, if there's a legitimate election, if he actually runs for a term, he doesn't win.
I actually, along with this quote, I pulled up a MAGA junkie fired from government job now regrets voting for Trump. Some like person whose online persona was named MAGA junkie. She lost her job and now she regrets voting for him. I cried. It's scary. It's a really scary thing. She said, I was embarrassed. The thing that gets me with these people is like, but why do you vote in a way that you want other people to be treated this way? But then once you're treated that way, it's like, oh no, how could this happen to me? Doesn't it's tough. But yeah, I pulled that up because part of this quote to me was like, again, scam artisty, and in that vein. And look, I mean, it's super, I also, when I was searching for that article, you could also find articles where it's like, we interviewed 2,000 Trump voters, they all said, they don't regret their vote, So it's wherever you're, like, reading and what they're telling you, but some people do feel scammed.
Well, and as they should, because Trump is not actually here to fix anything, so...
No, I wish everyone who voted for Trump, I wish you would have talked to Trump University people. It's just like we're doing the same shit over and over again.
Right. Or Trump casino investors. Shit over,
whatever. Pick whatever.
Contractors for Trump.
There you go. All the stupid people, all the articles I've read there where he stiffed people back in the day over the years. Like, just like, oh, I believe that. Anyways.
Yeah. I don't know how we fix the level of cynicism. And I do hope that when Musk and Trump sort of really break some of the government's functions, particularly for poor folks, I really hope that the people take that as a moment of, oh, government can do good things, rather than, well, the whole thing's broken, we got to toss it all out.
We'll see.
Yeah, because that concerns me. If people don't learn the right lesson from all this pain that's going to be inflicted, I don't know where we go from there. I really fucking don't. We're gonna have to build a wall right on the Pennsylvania border.
Build that wall. Anyways, when that
Yeah.
coastline gets high, and I'm nowhere near it, I don't want to hear you come crying to me. Anyways.
All right, let's see here. Just Googling how long the Roman Republic lasted.
There's another one here.
Rome was a republic for nearly 500 years, and Julius Caesar just flushed it all down the toilet. So there you go.
He's a well-documented man. Why? Do you know why? I have no fucking idea.
Julius Caesar?
Yeah, why did he flush it all down the toilet? Why did he, like, go power hungry and, like, be weird?
I was actually kind of reading about that this morning. He was out fighting because he was a general. He was out leading, like, a campaign against the Gauls, which I think is in Germany. Mm-hmm. And there was some sort of back channel workings against him becoming like a statesman when he was going to return. So then instead of getting exiled from Rome, he said, fuck it, I'm going to just seize power. Because he was still at the head of an army at that point, and like his army's loyal to him. So he just walked back to Rome and was like, this is mine now.
So he was
which
a military
is probably
coup. Okay.
Yes. No, he seized. Yeah, there was a civil war, and he had the biggest army, and he just seized power. But look at that. So America only lasted 200 some odd years. Only half that Rome was a republic for.
This is such down in the dumps talk, so we're going to be fine.
We hate to see it. But the next American republic will stand for 1,000 years. There we go. Is that what you want? A little bit of...
The next quote is great because it speaks to, I feel like, the idiocy of eliminating freedoms for the sake of, like, security. That's always such a bullshit sell throughout history. You know what I'm saying? Every single time. So it's the same guy, right? Behold, here you have a man who was ambitious to be king of the Roman people and master of the whole world, and he achieved it. The man who maintains that such an ambition is morally right is a madman, for he justifies the destruction of law and liberty and thinks their hideous and detestable suppression glorious. Correct. Just more like the liberty part. Like, freedoms always get, like, time and time again throughout history. It's like, oh, we're in danger. I need to take away all your freedoms. And then when the danger goes away, if it even existed in the first place, it's like, can we have our freedoms back? And they're like, no. And they're like, oh, great. Great. Yeah, great.
Well, listen, we have to surrender some freedoms to make America great again, and then we'll give them back. And that's on God.
Yeah. On God, that sounds terrible to me, but...
I don't know about you, but watching people on student visas get disappeared into vans by ICE just for proclaiming support for Palestine, not ideal. Not ideal. Some would say not free speech. Some would say. I don't know if I would say it, but feels like not free speech. You know what I'm saying?
Dude, and this is what kills me, man. I feel like I've been aware enough of things and had the opinions that I've had for so long that we come back to the same shit over and over again. The amount of times I said over the years that, like, the same people who are like, I'm pro-freedom, I'm pro-free speech, immediately are not and have no fucking idea what they're talking about when someone says something that they disagree with. It's like, that's not pro-free speech. Like, it's not pro-free speech to just, like, say, like, oh, Christian is the law, the religion of the land. It's like, that's stupid. Like, that makes... It's like, but the same people are like, oh, I'm pro-freedom. But, like, you have to be Christian. It's like, what's happening in your brain when you say those two things at the same time? Like, I don't... It's so frustrating, man. And here we are again. It's like the same people that are like, pro-free speech and Elon Musk is... Dude, you know how many interviews I've seen with people who are like, I love Elon Musk because he saved free speech? And I'm just like... come on, dude. What are we doing here? Like, yeah.
The level of... like algorithmically driven bullshit you have to subscribe to truly believe that statement blows my fucking mind.
It's crazy, man. We can all admit that the whatever Twitter had before, I don't even know. I can still sit here and tell you, yeah, it probably wasn't perfect, but like, Jesus. Like,
yeah, I don't know. I don't. Yeah. I
Criticizing
was not really in that space. I'm not a Twitter person.
Yeah,
you know?
I wasn't either. I wasn't either. I deleted it.
Also,
I
can we
deleted
get
it
past
right
the
after he
idea
bought it.
that, like,
Yeah.
oh, you have to have ultimate free speech online by companies who are maintaining their own. Like, I just don't understand that. Like, the people who are like, oh, I'm getting censored during COVID. Like, dude, you can go outside and say whatever the fuck you want. You're not getting censored. You're getting censored in this online space where you want to have a
100%.
presence. Like, go fuck yourself. Your
The
free
only
speech still exists. You just can't do it online in a Twitter space.
right. No, I agree with that.
That's the death of free speech. Like, come on, dude.
We
Give me
have
a
talked over
fucking
the years
break.
about like, is there a public square online? Could that exist where like you could still say like, maybe, but in general, I think we've agreed that like, dude, the internet, it's always some site owned by someone that has like guidelines.
It just kills me that we've
Free
conceded.
speech came about when we only could just talk to each other in real life. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, go ahead.
Right. Because somebody couldn't post on Twitter 30 years ago doesn't mean they didn't have free speech. Like, what the fuck are we doing?
It's brain rot.
You know what I'm saying? Twitter didn't exist at one point, but free speech was very much alive. So you don't need Twitter at all for free speech to exist. That just doesn't make sense to me.
It's brain rot. It's brain
It's
rot.
brain rot.
And when you've been paying attention to this stuff for as long as we have, it's the same things over and over again. Which begs the question, like, I don't understand how... Well, I do understand, but it's hard to understand how, like, we keep going in the direction we're going. It's just like, really? But hey, that being said, like, 60% of people vote, so that's no. I mean, nobody's under the delusion that any state as big as ours would vote 100%. But let's say like 80 to 90 is where we should be. That's 20 to 30% of the populace. That's just not even fucking voting, which is enormous. So this is how these things happen, because like you get enough of a populace and enough of a populace that doesn't care. Anyone like Trump, who motivates a lot of people, can just overcome like normal voting patterns. Or even, I think Kamala had like a little bump after Biden. She did better than Biden would have done. So still Trump was able to wash her away. So not too crazy. I think he only won by so much, and under 50% plurality of the vote. But still, as you pointed out, it was a popular vote, and it was the first time for Republican in a long time. So
Long time.
And now I would argue since HW, because George W. lost the popular vote in 2000 and then only won in 2004 because of the wind of like 9/11 sales and political like approval and like everyone coming together. Hoorah, go fight the enemy. So that's how you get that stuff, though. It just motivates a whole bunch of people who don't usually vote. So that's why you get...
Yeah.
Part of why you get, I mean, people are getting fired or people are mad, but part of why you get like a plus 30 district could go maybe for a Democrat now in a special election, because Trump voters don't give a shit, bro. They voted for Trump and they were just like, oh yeah, like besides that, I'm not some like active, like engaged voter. So
Right.
see what happens.
Can we do just one last thing before we?
Go ahead real quick.
Well, I sent a link in the Discord chat, and I just think we should watch together, because I've been at the end of these, I like to just open up Trump's Truth Social and just pick a thing. I just like to pick a thing.
We're doing
So just if you want to full screen and play that, and we can all just together.
All right,
I don't know what it is. I kind of got a vibe for what it is when I played the
What do you
first
mean?
couple seconds.
You just picked a random one? This is from 2:30 today. You just
Yeah,
picked
because
a
it's
random
always
one?
money, dude. He's fucking,
all right, I'm
he's
watching.
insane.
All right.
In the cold silence of the
Go ahead and full
tundra,
screen that.
a bond was born, not from treaties or trade, but from blood and bravery. While Germany controlled Europe, the Nazis set their sights on the Arctic. Greenland became an unwitting combatant, and the United States stepped in, not to conquer, but to protect. In 1943, nearly 1,000 American soldiers with 4 chaplains set sail from New York to Greenland, carrying with them hope, duty, and a quiet fear. But their ship was torpedoed by a Nazi U-boat, and the frigid waters of the North Atlantic became a grave. Those 4 chaplains gave up their life vests, giving their lives so that others might live, to protect America and Greenland. Their sacrifices helped win our freedom, and we will never forget. Together, Americans and Greenlanders stood as sentinels at the top of the world. But today, Greenland faces new threats, from Russian aggression and Chinese expansion. Our shared legacy lives on in every joint mission, every Arctic patrol, every partnership forged in the shadow of melting ice and rising tensions. This is not just history, it is destiny. Now is the time to stand together again. For peace, for security, for the future, America stands with Greenland.
So
It's
in
destiny,
Trump's,
Cyril. It's
in
destiny.
Trump's baby ass brain, in his baby ass brain, all that protecting stuff means we should own them because he's an idiot. Not that they outright say it in this thing, And you know what never gets talked about when we talk about Trump and Greenland and this video and everything Trumpistan related to Greenland? You know what never gets talked about? What Greenlanders actually want. Yeah, isn't that funny? It just makes no sense, man. It's so dumb. This video is innocent enough. I'd expect worse from him by now. He's a freaking unhinged lunatic, but...
Well, I think he realizes if he actually wants Greenland, he can't just be like, you can't invade Greenland. You know what I mean?
Nobody thinks you're gonna do that. You're just a bluster blowhard, bro. You know what I'm saying? It's just empty threats, which kind of sucks because then people begin to just not believe what you're saying or this or it's just so stupid, bro.
He keeps doubling and tripling down on this Greenland shit, by the way, which is what is he? What are you doing, bro?
Keep an eye on these elections Tuesday. So
special elections.
But you know what? I was preparing for a lot worse when you took us here. Is that the last?
Well, again,
was that his pinned truth? Is this pinned truth?
Is it pinned? No, that was a different one.
I got a call from a very good guy, a friend of mine, Kid Rock, asking me whether or not it would be possible for me to meet in the White House with Bill Maher, a man who has been unjustifiably critical of anything or anyone Trump. I really didn't like the idea much, and don't like it much now, but thought it would be interesting. The problem is, no matter how much he likes your favorite president, me, he will publicly proclaim what a terrible guy I am, etc. Very much like the Democrats at my recent address to the joint session of Congress, where I stated correctly that no matter what I said or did, they wouldn't stand. All right, do you know how many commas he puts in this? Oh my, I've never seen someone comma a sentence to death in my life.
Wait, so...
And again, my favorite part of his tweets are always like, and this is the last one he put in, your favorite president, me. Your favorite president, me.
He's so fucking...
Me.
So, in all caps,
Yeah.
M-E,
Yeah.
both
Me.
capitalized. Me.
Yes, Donald. Yes, Donald, you. I look forward to meeting with Bill Maher, Kid Rock, and I believe even the legendary Dana White will be president. It might be fun,
No, of
or
course.
it might not, but you will be the first to know. We don't give a command. All right, we're reading it, which sucks. We gotta stop this.